Ryan Hill, so disappointed with his failure to make the US team at the Olympic trials. He finished in 7th place at the World Championships last year, but only 6th in the US Olympic trials when many thought he'd win the race in Eugene a couple of weeks back. Bethwell Bergen, a world-class 1500-meter man. Mo Farah, of course, starts here as strong favourite. But look out too for Bernard Lagat, who is the US champion from those Olympic trials, a former world champion at 5,000 and 1,500 metres, twice an Olympic 1,500. Chaser making his 5,000 metre debut here. And look out too for Butchart of Great Britain, Andy Butchart, the UK champion. He broke the Scottish record over 5,000 back in May in Hengelo. So 12.5 laps of the track then. This the last race for Mo Farah and many of these other men who are heading for Rio with big hopes in Brazil. Quite fitting really that it's a warm, sticky afternoon here in London, because that's the way it will be in Rio. I'm sure we're expecting it to be around 22, 24 degrees centigrade in Rio most days, but it will be humid as well. Hilary Mayo, the pacemaker, we're looking for something around 13-minute tempo here. That means, well, around 62 seconds per lap, something like that, maybe a little bit slower. Mo Farah in 4th place at the moment. Cyrus Ruto, who's a 13:12 performer, slots into 3rd place, but almost single file already. Another athlete to watch out for here, Eric Jenkins, 4th in US trials over 5,000 metres. And several Americans here who are trying to nurse their wounds. Ben True, 6th in the World Championships last year. He's in about 10th place in the red vest is True. He was disappointed as well to finish in 5th place at the US Olympic trials.
Well, certainly Mo Farah is not the Mo Farah sitting at the back of a race at this stage, as we normally assume he will do. He means business. He's on the back of the pacemakers. And this looks good to me. It looks as though it's a strong pace. And quite frankly, the only way that people are ever going to beat Mo Farah is if they can really put him under pressure throughout the whole context of the race, rather than waiting from the end. Remember, he's a 3:28 1,500-meter man. He's quick over the shorter distance. He's got speed endurance that most haven't got. He's got strength endurance. He's a 10,000-meter man as well. So he's got all the armory. And the only way, if they team up on him, they've got to really work with each other to try and put in enough laps to take the sting out of him, but that has proved to be very difficult in the past.
So Mayo leads from Rono and Ruto. Mo Farah in 4th place at the moment. Koech in 5th place. The real danger for Mo Farah come Rio will be in the 10,000 metres at the hands of Jeffrey Kamworor, who is diligently working away, sharpening his speed to beat Farah over 25 laps. Over 12.5 laps, I think Farah is less vulnerable. Such is his speed. But Kamworor...
A thumbs up. 22 metres and 4. Let's just update that.
Back to this 5,000 metres. Mo Farah looking very smooth behind those shades. He was told yesterday that the Kenyans are on record as saying they believe they have worked hard enough to deal with his speed, deal with his racing tactics come Rio. And he said his answer, which brought a chuckle around the room, was bring it on. He believes he's ready under the guidance of Alberto Salazar. There's Ryan Hill in the red, Andy Butchart, the British champion, who's had a super year, moving down to 13th.
The rest of the pack behind are, and so I would expect they were looking for 2:36. 2:36 per kilometre will give them 13 minutes. They were trying to lap at, between 62 and 63. That was the original plan, and then we'll look to see how close to the 7:48 they get to 3,000 metres, which will give you an indication as to whether they're on 13-minute pace at this time. But Farah is looking good. He's in business, and he's making the rest think, well, OK, he's taking this seriously. How do they deal with it?
Well, of course, the best of the Kenyans and Ethiopians have stayed away from this London race. You look at the world rankings, Edris and Gebremeskel top the world rankings for Ethiopia. Kamworor himself, the 3rd athlete under 13 minutes this year. Hagos Gebrewet, of course, Cheptegei, Longosiwa, some familiar names, men who have battled Farah again and again in major championships and in Diamond League races, and invariably are beaten by him, I have to say. But they will have been working very hard to try and unlock the bank vault, so to speak, in which Mo Farah keeps his gold medals. 5:14 at 2,000. It was significantly slower that second kilometre, a couple of seconds slower. 2:36 and 2:38 they've gone so far. Rono is well equipped to take them into this third kilometre. He's a 7:41 performer at 3,000. He's got good strength too at 27:52. Koech there, who was fifth in the Olympic Games 5,000 metres 4 years ago when he was just 18 years old, is faster than Mo Farah on paper at 3,000 and 5,000. Now these four beginning to get away. Makoka, that is, in orange at the back of the group behind Koech. Mo in second place. Said yesterday at the press conference his priority is to win today, but he would love to get a quick time out of this run as well. He feels that it's a physiological process he needs to go through to arrive in Rio as the finished article with one or two more critical sessions, he said, speed work primarily, to come over these next 3 weeks. But he wants to win here. He also has emphasised, Stuart, which is interesting, his respect for his competitors. I think Mo is very aware of the fact that he's there to be shot down, that the Kenyans, the Ethiopians, are desperate to beat him in a major championship, and he knows that they will be working hard. And that awareness of what your opposition is doing is important.
It is very important, but we've got a group of four away from the rest now, so this has been pretty quick, this latter part of the race, that's for sure. We're looking for 7:48. It's just outside. I'm not sure what that kilometre time was. 5:14 for 2. That was 2 seconds out. And 7:52. So they've slowed a little bit again. They're about 4 seconds off 13-minute pace at the moment.
Well, 7:52 at 3,000 is still quick enough to go under 13 minutes. Mo Farah striding along, looking very relaxed indeed. Koech seems powerless to stop this gap growing. It's about 4 or 5 metres at the moment. Makoka, by the way, having a brilliant run here. He's better known as a road racer. He's run many times on the UK scene, over 10 miles in Portsmouth and elsewhere. His lifetime best is only 13:11, but he's heading for a big improvement on that if he can stick with Koech here through these last 4 laps or so. The gap is not growing, mind you. Farah looking relaxed. Is he going to cut loose? Is he going to re-stretch himself and work and hurt through this last mile? Or is he just going to cruise and then test his speed? I'd love to see him really run hard and get his head down. That would fire a warning shot to the strength runners like Kambaro from Kenya.
Just 4 laps to go, and he really is. The Makoka and Koech are working together. That gives them a little bit of hope. But they're now, what, 20, 25 metres down, as you can see. But I think that Mo will let loose. I think he'll cut loose. He really wants a quick last mile, a quick last 1,600 metres. And he looks so good, doesn't he? Looks relaxed, lots of power in those legs. And a lot more to come.
Well, it was 8:55 with 4 laps to run. There's your marker. If he gets under 13 minutes, he'll have run his last mile in around 4:05. His last 4 laps anyway. The gap has grown quickly. I think Farah has stepped it up. Koech and Makoka chasing hard. The rest of the field probably 50 metres behind them. And that means they will have gone through 3,000 metres way, way down. Probably in about 8 minutes, the main pack. But Farah comes down the straight. The crowd here in the stadium in the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park with 3 laps to run. Roaring Farah on their way. 4 years ago, of course, some magic happened here in this very arena. The stadium in its adjusted format holds 54,000 for a football match. We understand about 50,000 for athletics. West Ham looking forward to the coming season. Mo Farah looking forward to Arsenal's coming season. But there's 1 or 2 little interruptions to that build-up to the Premier League season first, and it's called the Rio de Janeiro Olympic Games primarily. And Farah is poetry in motion right now. 4,000 in 10:29, a 2:36 there for Farah. That's the quickest since the first kilometre.
Yeah, that's the sort of pace he was looking for early on, but he's got back on track, and I think that he will open the guns, and that last couple of laps we'll see him really firing on all 6 cylinders. He was intent on getting a fast time here. He was desperate, you could see, just to mark a time going into Rio.
2 laps to run for Mo Farah then, almost exactly 11 minutes on the clock at that point. Remember at the World Championships last year, the Kenyans threw everything at this man, the kitchen sink included, as we say in the UK. And the last 800 metres there was around 150, I believe, in Beijing. They couldn't defeat Mo Farah. His speed is extreme. Let's forget, folks, that Mo Farah is the European record holder at 1,500 metres, and the European record holder at the half marathon. Now, as far as I'm aware, that is unique in terms of continental records. That spread of ability, that mix of speed and strength is quite extraordinary, unique on the global scene at the moment. And while there have been many great champions over the years, Mo Farah's consistency, his application, his spread of ability, I think, is unrivaled. You may call Gebre Selassie or Bekele the greatest distance runners in history, one of those two, but this man is the greatest of the era that we're currently in by some margin. Hits the bell, there's Mo Farah, 12:02 there. That was a fairly relaxed 62-second lap for the London man in front of his own crowd. Just over 300 metres to run for Mo Farah, and the gap has become a chasm. Back to Koech and Mokoka, who's suffering. The pack are closing down on him, amongst them Ben True and Ryan Hill as well. But Farah, well, he's about 90 metres ahead, down the back straight. 200 metres to run for Farah now. He's lapping athletes. They're lapping it up the crowd as he laps athletes. He hasn't really overextended himself here. He's working hard. 150 to run. It's going to be mighty close to 13 minutes. He said he wanted to win. He said he wanted a quick time. He might have got a quicker time if he'd been able to race here. Maybe he's seen the clock now, because Farah, with 12:55 in the clock, sprints towards the line. It approaches. He wins. The time just under 13 minutes. Beautifully done. You could hardly write a better script. Again and again, this man gets it right. He's a deceptively astute racer. You speak to Mo Farah and you think, London lad, very, very easy and relaxed individual. But when you put him on a racing track, in racing spikes, point him in the right direction, my word, does he have extraordinary racing intellect. That wasn't required today, but it was nonetheless a mighty impressive piece of 5,000 metre running to take him just under 13 minutes. And the warning signs are there for the Africans.
57 seconds for the last 400 metres, 12:02 at the bell and 12:59.31 to finish. So he looks good, doesn't he? It doesn't look as though he's taken a lot out of himself, although it is a punishing 12.5 laps for him. But Mo Farah goes off to Rio now with a sub-13 second 5,000 under his belt, and that's exactly what he wanted. There's no question about that. You're right, Tim. When he saw the clock, came into the home straight, he had a little bit more. He wanted desperately to get underneath that 13 minutes, and so he did. And the crowd will cheer for a long, long time. Mo go is the message from the crowd, and really, he will, I'm sure.
Well, in the battle for the minor places, Andy Butchart came out on top. The Scots taking second place in 13:14.85. Lagat in third, 13:14.96. But here was Mo Farah, just giving us a little glimpse of the speed that was stored in those legs. He could have unleashed so much more, I'm sure. 2 or 3 more gears were available. They weren't needed. And he just turned on the burners a little bit there to enable himself to get under 13 minutes. Even getting the mojo done there as well. Mo Farah then, perfectly prepared for Rio. And a title defence at 5,000 and 10,000 metres. He will be very, very tough to unseat. I know the Kenyans will have been watching this with fascination. Not a great deal they can learn from it, really. He's fit, he's fast, he's strong, and he knows how to race better than anybody. So the ball back in their court.
He is, as Usain Bolt is, a maestro, and this is his time. Wonderful moment here in this stadium. And
well, Mo Farah sent on his merry way by this London crowd, and a lovely victory there to close proceedings at this Diamond League meeting. Over 5,000 metres. Confirmation of the win for Mo Farah, 12:59.29. Wins the race by some 15 seconds from Andy Butchart. Bernard Lagat, his season's best 13:14 at the age of 41.